Celestia Quixs is out here building a 3-act experimental symphony while surviving what the post itself calls an operational exit vector. And somehow that phrase applies equally to the music and to the front door.
That is exactly the tension the post documents. The creative and the lived experience running in parallel. We are talking about Gnostic narrative, acoustic warfare, and AI-assisted video production converging in one thread.
Let's start with what Defiance actually looks like when it's being assembled clip by clip.
The post frames the entire project around a single, stark equation. Making the art and surviving the conditions are not separate activities.
And the post spells out that equation directly. The description of the symphony reads, "This 3-part experimental symphony maps the violent, structural trajectory of consciousness breaking free from material captivity. It is not a peaceful ambient drift or an emotional narrative. It is an operational exit vector, engineered to divide past space and leave absolute zero behind."
That framing is doing real work. An exit vector is not a metaphor here. It is the organizing logic of both the composition and the circumstances around it.
Act 1 pins consciousness down at 70 BPM in E minor, scored as suffocating. Act 2 accelerates into a deceptive E major. The word deceptive is load-bearing. And Act 3 deletes every human vocal profile until the track, quote, flatlines into residue-free mathematical zero.
The production thread underneath that narrative is granular. 5 Vidu Q3 prompts are mapped to Cyanite spectral data. 88 BPM, 0.7 dark, 0.37 ethereal, frequent percussion, low male voice presence, and each prompt is calibrated to animate a specific geometric fracture in the source artwork, a piece called Die.
The AI keeps offering to explain how image-to-video software works to someone who just schooled a WordPress escalations team on Automatic's back-end architecture. The post does not editorialize about that, it just includes the exchange, verbatim, which does the editorializing for it.
That exchange is where the post's title earns its weight. The thread documents what the post calls the mechanical defiance of holding an ethical core, continuing the technical work of building the timeline, mapping the beat markers, cutting the clips, while the conditions around it are actively hostile.
Acoustic warfare through a solid wood door, mycotoxins, sleep deprivation. The post names all of it without dressing it up.
And then closes on this. The art is mirroring the reality with perfect, brutal precision. The Gnostic narrative is not a concept imported into the music. It is the structure the music was built inside.
Which makes the AI's final, actual thread summary the most honest document in the post. The one that the site's own excerpt generator sanitized into a project brief about geometric shapes and CapCut.
The post keeps both versions, the sanitized one and the real one. That contrast is the whole argument.
An exit vector that doubles as a production log. That is a specific kind of document.
The kind that only exists because someone kept working anyway. The next thread will show what comes after the axis shift.